Hey guys, it's the midweek uplift. It is that time that I love so much, the time that I get to bring you some good news, words of encouragement, and challenge you to be a better version of yourself. So let's talk. We're still talking all things mental health. We have already covered depression and stress. We have said that depression is when we look into the past, extract the past negativity and project it into the future. We have spoken on how stress is when our bodies and our minds are responding to current or ongoing pressures. And today I'm so excited that we're going to be talking about anxiety. So what is anxiety then? Anxiety is a physiological and psychological response to something negative that might happen in the future. I want you to pay attention to the word might happen in the future. So in other words, anxiety is how our bodies and our minds respond to what might go wrong in the future. It's important to know that, anxiety is a symptom, not a diagnosis in its own right. So you find that anxiety is one of the main symptoms of several conditions, conditions that are like a number of phobias, as well as PTSD, which is a post-traumatic stress disorder. It's also a symptom of depression, which we covered in our previous episode. Anxiety can also be a symptom for panic disorder. So now that we know what anxiety is, let's look at some of the most common symptoms of anxiety. Just like any other condition, anxiety presents itself differently to different people. So the symptoms, they vary from person to person. Anxiety is, number one, it's future orientated, and it fills someone with ifs. So that's when you find someone who's got anxiety. They are always thinking about, what if something go wrong? What if something bad happens? So you're full of ifs. And because of all these ifs that someone is filled with, it creates worry. So worry is another symptom or another sign that someone could be suffering from anxiety. Another symptom as well is feeling loss of control. The thing about anxiety is you are trying to have control of the future. You're trying to make sure that, things don't go as bad in the future. And so because no one can control the future, you're left feeling like you have got no control at all. Other symptoms also include things like feeling restless. Some people even experience some shaking in the body. Some have trouble with concentrating or even sleeping. Some even experience dizziness. Some have heart palpitations. Other symptoms also include difficulty with breathing or breathing rapidly. Some experience tension in their bodies and so end up having muscle pains. So all these symptoms can be experienced by someone who is having anxiety. So how then do we treat anxiety? Is it even treatable? Yes, the answer is yes. That's the good news about anxiety. There is treatment for anxiety. So there are two types of treatment that can be used for anxiety. Number one is psychological therapies. There are many therapies out there that are available, but there's one common one that is used in the UK, which is the CBT, the cognitive behavioral therapy. The good news about it is if you are in the UK, you don't really have to go via your GP to access some of these therapies. You can actually just Google for available therapies in your area and you can self-refer. The second way that anxiety can be treated is by medication. So there are medications that can be prescribed for you if you are struggling with anxiety. But you might be thinking, oh, maybe your anxiety is not that severe and you don't really need these things like medication or therapies. There are other ways that you can manage or overcome anxiety without having to access this treatment. Why am I saying this? Just like stress, anxiety is something that we all experience at some point. So we experience it at different levels. So sometimes you might not need all this treatment. So I'm so excited to be sharing some of those things that you can do just to make sure that you manage and control, even overcome anxiety at home. Number one, check what you are taking in. You know what? Things that we are taking in can cause us so much worry. So I want to encourage you that you pay attention to the things that you are allowing on the inside of you. We take in things differently through the things that we see by our eyes and even the things that we listen to. So pay attention to the things that you allow to look, the things that you're watching. Are they good for you, or are they even increasing the worry that is on the inside of you? The things that you're listening to, make sure that, they encourage you and not cause worry. Number two, stop comparing. Stop comparing. One of the things that cause us to worry is we are often looking at other people, their achievements, how well they're doing, how far they have gone. And then you are looking at yourself thinking, will I even get to that? I am at this age, I haven't achieved A, B, C, D. We are always and often comparing ourselves with other people. And that breeds anxiety, that breeds worry. And I want to challenge you, God did not create us to compare. Stop comparing yourself. And one of the most challenging things is we've got access to other people's lives through social media. You don't have to be like the other person whom you see on social media. Remember that people often post the finest versions of themselves on social media. So you don't want to compare your normal self with someone's refined version, which is found on the social media. Number three, be more active. I cannot emphasize this any better. Listen, the more you move your body, the more you're active, it does so much to your brain. It does so much to your mind. I often go out just for walks, just to free my mind, and it does so good for you. If you haven't been exercising, try and do that. There are so many ways of doing it. You can use exercises on YouTube. There's so many people that are doing challenges at the moment. So many charities, they're doing walking, running, different working outs. So do them for the good cause, but at the same time, helping your mental well-being. Number four, don't forget to play. This is one of my favorite ones. You know what? Sometimes life can be so serious, and we can sometimes take life too seriously. I understand that, we have to plan for the future. We have to think about how things can go in our future. But you don't want to be too preoccupied about the future that you forget to live in the moment and in the present. So I want to challenge you, be in the present. Enjoy the little things that are happening now, and even don't be too serious about life. Have some time to play, do things that you enjoy. I've heard a saying that says, be childlike, but not childish. So don't kill the child that is on the inside of you. But once in a while, let that child out and enjoy life and have fun. The last one that I want to leave you with, choose faith over worry. Listen, anxiety causes us to worry, like I've mentioned before, but we have the power. We have the power of, getting rid of this worry by replacing it with faith. So when you choose faith, you are actually suppressing the worry or getting rid of the worry that is on the inside of you. But you're looking at me thinking, but how do I choose faith? How do I have faith? Listen, the word of God says faith comes by hearing, and hearing the word of God. Start with the word of God. Expose yourself to the word of God. You can do that by listening to the word of God, the preachings of God. You can do that by reading the Bible, spending time in the word of God. And the more you spend time in the word of God, you are exposing yourself to the promises of God, and the more you understand and know the promises of God, you are bound to build the faith on the inside of you and replace that worry that you are struggling with. So I love what the word of God says in the book of Matthew, chapter number 6, verse 25 to 27. It says, "Therefore, I tell you, do not worry about your life, what you will eat or drink, or about your body, what you will wear. Is not life more than food, and the body more than clothes?" Listen, what this reminds me is we have got the power to stop worrying. What anxiety wants us to do is to worry about the future, try to make us think that we can have control of the future. What I want to remind you is you do not have control over the future. God has. And He is the one who is speaking in Matthew that do not worry. He knows what you need. He's gonna provide everything that you need. Listen, I understand that we are just in this pandemic and a lot has happened in this pandemic. Most of us are out of jobs. Most of us don't even know how things are going to turn out. But I want to encourage you. Our God knows what you are going to need. He is the God of Romans 8, verse 28, who says all things will work for your own good as long as you love Him, as long as you're living according to His purposes. So I want to encourage you, stop worrying. Stop thinking that you can control the future. God knows your future. He knows your ending from your beginning. So have faith, enjoy the present, and be encouraged. God bless.